let me begin with two stories. When NASA started sending astronauts into space, they quickly discovered that usual ballpoint pen would not work in that zero gravity. So they spent a decade and $1 million developing a new pen which could write at any surface in zero gravity, upside down, at temperatures ranging from below freezing up to 300 degrees. At the same time, the Russians used pencil. The second story is about a man who was born in Germany at the end of 19th century. He did not speak until 4 years old. He was pretty bad at math, and he was expelled from his first school. When he tried to get into Swiss Polytechnical School in Zurich, he failed the exams. After finally graduating, he couldn't find a work, and he ended up working as a clerk in a patent office in Bern. But he didn't stop to work on science, even if he was bad when he was young, because it was his passion. And a bit later, he published 4 groundbreaking articles in 1 year. This year was called a miracle year in physics because of outstanding importance of his publications. Of course, I'm talking about Albert Einstein. Mr. Toastmasters, fellow members and guests, what do these two stories have in common? Well, they both have unusual problem, a solution, and a meaningful message. The first story says that complicated problems have simple solutions. The second story says that even if you are bad at something, you still can succeed if you are passionate about your dream. And because we like these stories, these kind of stories we want to share. The TED community calls such stories ideas worth spreading. But I've chosen these two stories because of something very different. These two stories are similar because both of them lie. Both of them are inaccurate, incomplete, and inexact. It's true that Russians used pencil, but dust from graphite caused problems to electronic equipment. And in the end, in 1969, Russians bought 100 sophisticated pens from US. Even if it was said that Einstein had speech impairments, it is disputed by the Albert Einstein archives. And in fact, he excelled when he was at school, and he had problems only because he found the educational system stupid and mechanic. And when he tried to get into a Swiss Polytechnical School, he got exceptional grades in mathematics and physics. And he failed because of his French. So, why these two stories are so extremely popular? Why they roam from an email box to email box, from a web page to a web page, from one person to another? Because the message of these stories are good, and we want to believe it. We see the hope for ourselves, because sometimes there is a simple solution to a complex problem, and we all can succeed, even if we are in the beginning bad at something, if we continue to work on our dream. There is a truth in a story, and there is a truth in a message. So why to bother yourself finding correct facts for your message? What's wrong with hundreds of false legends reposted every day on Facebook? Could the right message justify the wrong fact in a story? I believe the answer is no. And let me share with you a story which proves it. There is a controversial medical practice called the healing touch. Their practitioners claim that only by placing their hand on a patient they could heal them. No instruments, no drugs, no complicated medical equipment. only feeling and manipulating the energy field of a person. Naturally, scientists did an independent, sophisticated, and credible study to check if there is any truth behind this story. And they found out that even such thing as energetic field exists, the practitioners of Healing Touch could not feel it. In response, Healing Touch International referenced another scientific article which show that the method is working. But, unfortunately for the supporters of Healing Touch, the author of that paper was convicted criminal, guilty of fraud, and got 5 years in prison. End of the argument. So why this story is worth attention? Because after all critics and forced results, Healing Touch stated that it's not important to feel energetic feel of a person, but the crucial part of a healing is compassion and willingness to help. And this is true, the only true in this story. The message of the story is good, but the whole story is bad. As Einstein's story and Spaceman's story, this story has misleading facts as long as good message. But the message, the noble message of willingness to help and importance of compassion is overshadowed by the all lies in the facts. The modern expert of public speaking, Alexei Kapterev, argues that the good story should not only have unusual problem, a solution, and a meaningful message, but also be verifiable and credible. Because we all live in a world where our listeners could check in 30 seconds if what we are saying is true or not. And what they will find using two simple websites will influence acceptance of our message. Aristotle indicated that persuasion relies on 3 pillars: ethos, pathos, and logos. Authority, emotions, and facts. If the facts in our story is wrong, it also influences the acceptance of us as an authority. And without these 2 pillars, the connection to the audience collapses. In Toastmasters, we all learn how to pick meaningful, purposeful, and empowering messages. In addition to this, we also should remember to pick credible, verifiable, and reliable stories to back up our message. Put your powerful message and genuine story together, and you will create the ideas worth knowing, remembering, and sharing. With the truth in a story, create your own ideas worth spreading. Mr. Toastmaster.